I'm in my office working. I hear a knock on the door. I look up and see my favorite employee, Jonathan. And he says, "Hey, guy, you got a second? We need to talk." Now, when my ex told me we need to talk, it meant she's either pregnant or she's leaving me. And Jonathan doesn't seem pregnant, so I realized then and there he's probably there to tell me he's leaving. Now, if that story sounds familiar, you're not alone. Companies all over the world are struggling to retain their employees, even though studies show the vast majority of resignations are preventable. Managers simply have a hard time identifying which of their employees are at risk of leaving, and an even harder time identifying why. And because of the nature of employee resignation, it's virtually impossible for HR to keep track of each and every employee's specific needs and status. And that's exactly why we've created Manto, the AI-based retention assistant. Manto uses workforce data from a variety of sources to help make employee retention a manageable, coherent process. Manto is logically built around three core questions: who will resign, why, and how to retain them. That means Manto not only predicts which of your employees are at risk of leaving up to 1 year in advance, but that using unique analysis methodology and groundbreaking explainable AI technology can actually explain the reason for each possible resignation long before they occur. Manto then takes this insight and distributes them between relevant stakeholders in the organization, either on our SaaS platform or directly to their inbox. But let's use a real example from one of our use cases to better understand how Manto works. Jim is a hardworking software engineer, always willing to put in long hours. Recently, Jim had his first child, and him and his family moved to a bigger house, which is a bit further away from work, thus increasing Jim's commute time. Manto took all that information in and deduced that there might be a work-life balance issue coming up because of Jim's long hours, extended commute, and new family priorities, and that because of Jim's new personal obligation, there might be a compensation issue emerging. Manto alerted about these issues to the relevant people in HR and management, which enabled them to tackle them before they became a problem and thus prevent Jim from ever resigning. Manto makes sure you stay on top of your most important retention assets, helps you manage the retention process, and eventually even recommends the best course of action for each possible scenario based on experience in your organization, all to increase your chances of retaining your top talent. My co-founders and I have 25 years of cumulative experience in Israeli intelligence. I've personally spent a decade of my life analyzing and predicting behaviors of certain individuals. And we've taken all the methodological knowledge that we've gained as head analysts and put it into our product to make it as efficient, reliable, and most importantly, actionable for decision makers in enterprises. After conducting several successful POCs in Israel and signing a few additional contracts, we're now beginning our operations in America and are expected to finish our first POC with a US-based company by the end of 2019. I want to thank you all for your attention, and if I could just leave you with one final thought, is that every employee who resigns costs its employer up to 150% of their annual salary. Think of all the money companies around the world can save by using Manto. Thank you very much for your attention. And